I'm Mary Crowley, and this is Zing, a show for children of all ages. And the videographer and editor is none other than Missy Delahanty. That's the reason why I like so well how the show comes out. I'm going to sing a song. May I please spend some time with you? I would like that. Yes, I'd like that. Would you like that too? I hope so. I'll tell you a little bit about today. The word is fall. The letter is F. The number is 13. We are going to talk about Halloween a little. Kristen and Jill Sweet will be painting pumpkins. Lynn will be reading a poem, The Raggedy Man. There will be some shots of the Halloween parade. The making of zebra cake with Gail. And I will be drawing a haunted house. To start out, I would like to sing happy birthday to anybody who has a birthday in October. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday October, happy birthday to you. The word is fall. And I have over here the colors that people look for when they take a foliage drive. They love to see the maple trees that are red. There are orange leaves, there are yellow leaves, there are a brown tone, like something that's copper. And it's a very short time when you see the beauty of the trees in Vermont. But don't miss it, it is wonderful. The red, near the word zing, Z-I-N-G, is a scarf, and that's a reminder it's going to get cold, and you need to keep yourself warm. Sometimes it's not a good idea to get cold because you might get sick if you get cold. Oh, and wash your hands too. That's important. The letter F is pronounced f, fun. I hope you have fun. And also, of course, fall starts with the sound of f, and so does foliage. F. So there we've done the letter. Now, the number is 13. This is, of course, here because I want to make the point that there are 12 eggs in some sort of a carton box like this. But if you add one more to the 12, then you get 13 eggs. So 12 in the box, and one more makes 13. Now also, in addition, this is the first time I've done money on Zing. And some of you know about money, but some of you may not. If you have a dime, a tiny little dime, it's the smallest coin, but it's worth 10 pennies. This dime is the same as 10 pennies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10! And if you add 3 more pennies to your dime, you have 13 cents. And I don't know what you can buy with 13 cents, but I do know that it's nice to have a little money. All right, that's the number. Halloween is a time that we celebrate, I think, because the earth is dying. And there's something a little scary about death and dying. And so if you kind of make fun of it and get dressed up in costumes, and if you have a parade, and if you have a witch like Esmeralda here, who's your friend, you can have a good time with Halloween. Pumpkins. I have smaller pumpkins, and Kristen Sweet painted this one, and Jill Sweet painted the one next to mine, and mine is the far one, and they're about the same size. And then I have this big pumpkin, which will probably be turned into a jack-o'-lantern. So right now, there's going to be a segment, and the sweet girls are going to paint pumpkins.
There was a pumpkin top test.
Can you put some more on top of there so it shows? In other words, dip in the yellow again? Yeah. They could get a nice hunk of it. Okay. All right, back you go. And go on top of what you did before. And it'll be nice and yellow.
And it's getting greener. Green. Oh, that's pretty green.
You want me to turn it around?
I want to like make the yellow mix together so it,
The yellow and the red you want to mix. Okay, go ahead.
This is so
You're the artist.
dry.
You are being artists now. Being artists is a wonderful thing.
I'm putting on
Christina, you've been an artist, right?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yes, with you many times. I painted a picture for their room. Do you remember that? What's the
Did you? What
what's-
did you paint?
What's in your room that I painted?
A cat?
Not a cat.
Olaf the snowman.
That's right. I painted Olaf the snowman.
Oh.
We have a dog.
Can you go around and around and it'll stay there? I bet you can.
What color?
Because it's better if you do it. I don't like to get into doing art for children. I think they should. Yes, see?
Kevin?
Wonderful. What would you like?
An orange.
Orange, sure.
Please.
Do we have orange? Yes, we do. Okay, good.
Then put it around.
Oh, just take it and go like this, okay? Just, yeah, that's it. Just dive right in there.
Okay.
Good.
I might need one more orange one.
Sure. Absolutely. There's nothing like pipe cleaners.
Have yellow instead, please.
Oh, yes, of course. There.
I want to choose another one.
Which do you want? You want a different color or same?
I want the green and
Yes, oh my goodness. All right, is there anything else you want to paint?
It's going to be a little green on here.
You want a
Oh, okay.
You want a person on your pumpkin?
Because
Oh, do you want a person on your pumpkin?
a little mixed.
Christina made a person
Like-
out of the pipe, isn't, wait, let me,
Like,
out of the pipe cleaner, she made a person. That's wonderful. And so ends the painting of the pumpkins with paint and decorative pieces, the pipe cleaners, and the tissue paper scrunched up underneath. Thank you so much for coming, Christina. Thank you, Jill, for coming, and thank you, Christina, for bringing them.
Thank you
try it?
so much for having us.
I loved it.
can you try it?
Thank you, Kristen and Jill and Christina. It was great fun to paint the pumpkins and chat with each other. Next, we've got Poetry Corner. Lynn Desmarais will read one of my favorite poems by James Whitcomb Riley, The Raggedy Man.
Welcome to Poetry Corner here at Zing. Today we're going to have a poem by James Whitcomb Riley called The Raggedy Man. This particular poem is credited for being the creator of Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy the dolls, but it was actually about hired men that would come and work on farms last century when people needed extra help. And this particular one is about a very, very beloved hired man. This one happens to be called The Raggedy Man. Oh, the Raggedy Man, he works for Pa, and he's the goodest man you ever saw. He comes to our house every day and waters the horses and feeds them hay, and he opens the shed and we all laugh when he drives out our little wobbly calf. And then if our hired girl says he can, he milks the cow for Elizabeth Ann. Ain't he an awful good Raggedy Man? Raggedy, raggedy, raggedy man. Why, the Raggedy Man, he is so good. He splits the kindlin' and chops the wood, and then he spades our garden too. And he does most things that boys can't do. He climbed clean up in our big tree, and he shooked an apple down for me, and another two for Elizabeth Ann, and another two for the Raggedy Man. Isn't he an awful kind Raggedy Man? Raggedy, raggedy, raggedy man. And the Raggedy Man, he knows most rhymes, and he tells them, if I be good sometimes. He knows about giants and griffins and elves, and the squigicum squeeze and the swallers themselves. And right at the pump in our pasture lot, he showed me the hole that the wunks had got. and lives way deep in the ground and can turn into me or Elizabeth Ann or Ma or Pa or the Raggedy Man. Ain't he a funny old Raggedy Man? Raggedy, raggedy, raggedy man. The Raggedy Man, one time when he was making a little bow and arrow for me, he says, when you're big, just like your pa is, are you going to keep a fine store like his? Or be a rich merchant and wear fine clothes? What are you going to be, goodness knows? And then he laughed at Elizabeth Ann, and I said, I'm going to be a Raggedy Man. I'm just going to be a nice Raggedy Man. Raggedy, raggedy, raggedy man.
Thank you, Lynn. You read so well. The Halloween parade is incredibly exciting. There are so many groups in our small city and from outside our small city that take part in the Halloween parade. There is music, there are great big floats on great big flatbed trucks, and there are prizes, and there are children on the floats, there are adults on the floats, there are people dancing. It is just wonderful, and thousands of people come to see it. So let's have a glimpse of it. The Halloween parade, the Saturday before Halloween. Don't miss it. Gail Finlayson is going to show us how to make a zebra cake. Gail Finlayson, preschool teacher, is here to teach you how to make zebra cake chocolate and to set a table. Welcome, Gail.
Thank you so much, Mary. It's a,
All right,
it's a
onward.
treat to be here. What we need to make zebra cake? Well, this is the chocolate wafers, and whipped cream.
And I'm just going to hold up a chocolate wafer. I haven't seen one of these in a long time.
They're very thin, but
Yes.
they're very chocolatey.
And they look delicious.
Well, they are good, but they
This
taste,
is better, what you're going to do.
they taste a lot better with some cream on it. Okay, so what we're going, the secret, well, the trick is to make the whipped cream and then stuff it like a sandwich cookie. And you make a bunch of them, and you put them all together and slosh them all over the place with whipped cream and let it soak in the refrigerator, if your kids will let you, for several hours. And then it
Okay,
can be
how do you
sliced like a
start
cake. Okay, well, we start out making the whipped cream. So you need a bowl for that.
All right, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you. Now, if you like it sweet, you could always add some sugar, but we're trying to be more health conscious. Yes, it is getting thicker.
Whipped cream. Whipped cream can be used for many things. You can put whipped cream on top of a sundae. You have the ice cream, and you have maybe hot fudge sauce, and then you have whipped cream, and maybe you have a maraschino cherry on top. But that whipped cream that's really important.
I should have demonstrated that the egg beater has two separate sets of beaters that when you spin, they each one turn in different directions, but they do it so cleverly that they don't
Right.
jam up.
This is really a very simple machine.
Yes,
When we think of machines, we think of great big machines.
that require fuel. This just
Yes, but
takes
this doesn't. This is
shoulder
just
and elbow
manpower,
power.
woman power.
Well,
Onward.
boys can do it too.
Well, you're a woman, that's why I said woman power.
Okay.
Ah,
You notice it's getting thick, and it makes little ridges and waves when it's thick enough
and
to
when you
use.
pull it up, you can pull it up so there's a little peak. I'm not sure. I don't think they can see
It's
that.
not peaking yet,
Yeah, but it's almost there.
and it makes such a satisfying sound.
It is.
It's getting little ridges now, and of course, if you keep rotating it when it's in the air, then you're going to have whipped cream all over the place, and your mother will not appreciate that.
Well, sometimes you have to make a mess. I'm not against messes. When you create things, sometimes you make a mess. And then you clean it up.
Yep, even grown-ups make messes sometimes, but cleaning up
Many
is a
grown-ups
definite
make messes.
part of it. Now it's getting thicker, pretty much. Whoa, I can barely turn it.
Very good. Okay. So now we have whipped cream. There it is.
There it is, your whipped
Perfect.
cream.
Now, how do we make the zebra cake?
Okay, this is the fun part. We're going to use this one. We will take, okay, here's one. There's one side is flat and one is slightly rounded. It really doesn't matter how you do it, but you should be consistent and do the same thing each time.
Whipped cream on top of chocolate wafer. Another chocolate wafer on top of that.
Yes.
More whipped cream.
Boy, you've got it down to a science here.
Another.
Now, obviously, we can't stack this all the way up, so I use this just to, these are intermediate steps. I think Mary should be doing this too.
Well, I could do it, yes.
Well, you could do probably 4 at once. Let's see. Oh, I didn't
Very satisfying to make something, especially if somebody else has done the work ahead of time to get things together. That's part of the hard work required. Okay, so now we have a number.
You're right. Well, if we had more,
That's enough.
okay, so I'll take these and put this here. And now we connect them and make 4. And then you make, how many is 2 times 4? Oh dear. So this is the principle of how it's done. And then you will take it, a spatula.
And put whipped cream all over it.
You cover every bit of it.
So it's white. It doesn't look
Now, what does a zebra
dark and
look
light like a zebra.
Who knows what a zebra looks like?
What does the zebra look like? What
Colors.
answer are you looking for?
I'm looking for colors.
Well, I don't know whether a zebra has very, very dark brown stripes or black stripes. I think maybe we who live away from zebras think they're black, but I'm not sure they are. By the way, did you know that no zebra is like any other zebra?
Each pattern
No
is
zebra.
slightly different. Yeah.
Every single zebra is different. They have a different pattern.
But for the quick short answer is black and white stripes. Now, there is a way to make this even fancier for girls' parties. You can put in some red food coloring and make pink whipped cream. You could even put in some peppermint flavoring. And I guess around St. Patty's Day, you could use green food coloring too.
You could put chocolate sprinkles all over the top. I love chocolate sprinkles.
Chocolate sprinkles sounds great, although I've never done
I
that.
have chocolate sprinkles at home.
And if you really want to get crazy, you could sprinkle white coconut on it.
You could,
Why
indeed.
not?
You could do a lot of things, but the plain zebra cake. Now, what do you do now? Because
Okay.
you need some time.
We can't eat it, sorry,
Nope.
like this. It needs several hours, if not overnight,
Overnight.
in the refrigerator. So that when you cut it, you don't slice it in between the cookies. You slice it on a diagonal, so you see all the black and white rows. It looks so good. And the cookies become soft, like cake,
They're cake.
because they've been bathed and swathed in this lovely whipped cream.
Thank you, Gail. I'm going to draw a haunted house. I started drawing haunted houses many, many, many years ago. I just think it's fun to draw some kind of house and then to add things that you think about that are part of Halloween. And so what I did was I did a sketch in pencil, but I'm going to go over it and I'm going to make all of the things in it darker so that you can see it. So I'm going to draw a haunted house. I got my ideas from a lot of places, from my imagination, and also from looking at some Halloween sorts of things. So let's go. I'm going to use an oil pastel, and I'm using the oil pastel because this is dark. This is even darker than a black crayon would be. Here's the roof. And what happened was I decided when I was doing this that I was going to have a bat here. So that's why I didn't do all that line the way you might think I would. And over on this side also, I've got a ghost that's in front of the roof. All right, so here is I don't know, some sort of a peak. And then from the top come two funny little ghosts. Lots of children draw ghosts this way. They just draw and two eyes, and that's the end of that. All right, here is the house, and I have some different things, so at some point I may not draw. I have cats and bats and ghosts and a lot of things. All right, let's do some windows. I did some round windows, and I did some rectangles, circles, and rectangles. And inside the windows, here's an oval. Inside this oval, here's somebody looking at you. Woo! And if we go like this, and if I had time, I'd fill it in with all black, but good enough. There. That's some sort of a creature looking out at you. From this one, we have a ghost. Whoop. And there's so many different ways to draw a ghost. I mean, there's no one right way. You just sort of do it. I like to have a head and arms and to go whoop-de-doo like this. And sometimes I put a nose, but usually I don't. But that's not the right way to do it. It's just any old way at all. All right, let's put some tiles on the roof here. And I'm doing it very quickly because this is a television show and repetitive. Sometimes repeated things are fun. All right, now, I decided that I would sort of make this decorative for circles. And in here I did a skeleton head. And I'm going to have to go to the marker because this is more detailed. So there are the eyes. Here's a nose. And here are teeth. And that's a skeleton head. Now down here we have the door. And there's a doorknob. And on the door there are letters. And it says here, go away. Now. Scare you? It's supposed to. All right, I had so much fun with this. I just really did. And you would too, if you drew a house of any kind at all. It could be a one-story house, a two-story house. It doesn't matter. Just to have a good time. Now, these ghosts, this, if I had time, I would make really dark all over. Because I like the idea that it's dark inside the house. And out of the darkness are coming these ghosts. All right, now here's a ghost. I saw this somewhere. Different from what I've ever drawn before. It's kind of a triangle ghost. In here, we've got a jack-o'-lantern. And I'm going to make it very simple. And here's that. Here's a shutter that's falling off. And here's another shutter that's falling off. And here's a shutter that's staying on. And another shutter. And here's some steps. And here's a railing. And here's a railing. And there's so much more. So I'll just keep going. Here's a black cat, which I'll have to fill in a little. And the 4 legs, and here's the black cat. Now, this is Vermont, so here are mountains. I decided we certainly did need some mountains, the Green Mountains. And here is the place, the yard, where the haunted house is. Here is a bat. Scary, scary bats. Not really. Bats will never hurt you. And again, I would fill this in completely if I had time. Here's another bat. Quickly done. Dark bat. Black bat. And here's a baby bat. Lost his mother. All right, what do we have here? Up in the sky we have the moon. And the moon is full, we're pretending. It was a full moon recently where I was. It was wonderful. Love the full moon. And here's some clouds floating by the moon. Then here is a witch, and she is riding her broom in her black dress. And she's holding on, and here's her broomstick, and here are her high heels, well, not too high, and here's her broom. And behind her, she's got also a cloud. Oh, here's her long witchy hair blowing in the breeze. And here's a cloud. And remember, you can do this too. It's just so much fun. You could do a smaller drawing. This is a spooky tree. And here it is down here, and this is grass. Over here is a gravestone. And it says R.I.P., which means rest in peace. And again, here's some grass. Then, down at the bottom, we have 2 jack-o'-lanterns to sort of complete the haunted house. And one of them is not very happy, and the other one is. And then the sidewalk is sort of crooked because this is a crooked house. This is a Halloween house. And I think that's all I had in mind. So what I'll do is I'll put MRC, because those are my initials and that's how I sign my work. And I had a good time. I hope you did, and I hope you make a haunted house or some drawings that have to do with Halloween. I always want you to remember that you are different from everybody else, different in a good way. You have to live your life and find out what you're interested in, what you like, what you want to do. Maybe you're somebody who wants to be on a team. Maybe you're somebody who wants to ski. Maybe you like to jump rope. Maybe you like to climb trees. You are special in some way. So as you live your life, try to figure out who you are, what you like to do. And don't ever let anybody tell you that you are not special, because you are. You're a star in a way. You're a star, yes you are. You're a bright and shining star. Yes you are, shining star, shining, shining, shining star. Thank you for being with me today. It is a pleasure to do this show. Have a good October.